Hi, and welcome to our next video in the music theory series. Today we are going to be talking about the bass clef and the notes and their counts. We know that in the previous video that was about the treble clef, it went too long and it might be a little complicated to understand. So we are going to keep this video as short and sweet as possible. So let's begin by learning the bass clef. To draw the bass clef, first we make a dot on the fourth line. Then we take a curve up to the fifth line and we bend it down, coming to the space between the first and the second line. And then around the fourth line, that is above and below the fourth line, we make two dots. This makes our bass clef. The bass clef is also called the F clef. We will come to know why. So now let's learn the sentences for the lines and the spaces of the bass clef. We have again two sentences that we have to remember. For the lines, it is great big dogs fight animals, and for the spaces, all cows eat grass. So we need the first letter of all the words that we have learned here. G, B, D, F, A and A, C, E, G. Now let's put these on our line and spaces. So G comes on the first line, B falls on the second line, D falls on the third line, F falls on the fourth line, and A falls on the fifth line. Now coming to the spaces, A falls on the first space, C falls on the second space, E falls on the third space, and G on the fourth space. Now coming to the space above the five lines, we have G, then A, and so on the space above the five lines we will get the note B. Above the space above the five lines, we'll have the next note as a ledger line. That will be our C. Let me draw this once again for you. So on the ledger line, we'll have, as it goes in order, A, B, and that note will be our C. Now this C that we have drawn here is our middle C. Yeah, that's right. It's the same middle C that we have done for the treble clef, which comes below the five lines. Now coming below the five lines of the bass clef, we get F in the space below the five lines, and below F on the ledger line we will have the note E. Okay, so let's label the C right on top as our middle C. We need to remember this because middle C is also the beginning of the treble clef as well as the ending of the bass clef. It is the same note, it comes on the keyboard right in the center. It's the same note, but in the bass clef it is at a different position, and on the treble clef it is at a different position. So now that we've learned about the bass clef, let's learn about drawing notes, knowing their names, their counts and their values. Okay, so let's start learning about some notes and their counts and their values. So we have the table in front of us. We have four different notes that we're going to learn. There are many more notes we have to learn, but that will come later. Let's begin with these four because these are our basic notes that we're going to learn in the beginning. The first column is the name. There are two names for each note. Then the second column is our note. That's how the note is going to look. The third column are the counts for each note. And the fourth column is the value. The first note we are learning is a whole note or a semi-breve. It looks like an oval and it has four counts. We'll be doing the values later on when we start learning the time signatures. For now, you can just note down the values and keep them. The second note we have is a half note or a minim. It is a whole note with a line going up from the side. It has two counts. The third note that we have is a quarter note or a crotchet. It is like a half note itself, but the inside of the oval is darkened and it has one count. And the fourth note that we are learning is the eighth note or a quaver. It is a quarter note itself along with a flag joined to it. It has half counts. Let us understand why these notes have two different names. So we have one set of names: whole note, half note, quarter note, eighth note. The second set of names: semi-breve, minim, crotchet, and quaver. So, the system of whole note, half note, quarter note, eighth note is followed by the USA. The people or the musicians in USA follow this system. They don't use semi-breve, minim, crotchet, quaver. While people in Europe, they only use semi-breve, minim, crotchet, quaver, and they don't refer to these notes as whole, half, quarter, or eighth note. Okay. Since we are from India, we need to learn both these names so that we know which name to use where. The value column, for now, we'll just note it down. A semi-breve has one value, minim is half, crotchet is 1/4, and a quaver is 1/8. We just remember these for now, but when we learn the time signatures lesson, we'll understand where these values are going to be used. We hope you'll have learned and understood the notes of the bass clef and the counts of these notes. Now, since we've finished learning the treble clef, the bass clef, and drawing notes and their counts, I think it's safe to say you can start with your Trinity workbook for grade 1 and go ahead doing the first and the second chapters. We'll see you on the other side. Bye-bye.